Here is a hem made of tulle. I'm going to show you how to mark and cut this. I will also show you what the whole dress looks like hanging up when it's finished. So I have pinned the gown on the girl. You never want to mark it any other way other than on the person's body. Don't just cut 2 inches off everywhere. That probably won't work out. So what I'm going to do, and this is going to seem a little bit risky, but I'm going to start with this first pin and I'm going to make a really dark mark there. And I'm going to do that all the way around. A dot is good. Now when I cut this, I'm just going to want to make sure and cut off the permanent marker. So that won't be a problem. You could use a different kind of marker if you want, but I find that the permanent marker works best. And if you make a mistake with the permanent marker, you can get it off with lemon oil from doTERRA. Just a little tip. Here is part of the process. I've been cutting the layers, and for the most part I can cut them together, but sometimes the layers are fuller on one layer than they are on the other, so I have to pull them apart and then cut them separately. I'm about to finish the last part of this hem. I did take the layers apart for some of it. Now the last pin was here at the side seam, so next I'm going to taper off my cut. You can use a hip curve or a French curve to draw a line if you need to, but I just cut it kind of at an angle there. Here is what the dress looks like hanging up. Here's the hem that we just cut. Now the under layer is going to be sewn, but the tulle is not. So looks like I might have to cut that under layer a little bit shorter. Unless that's the back. No. Yeah, I think I'll cut the front layer a little bit shorter. I mean the under layer. And then the skirt is hemmed a completely different way. We'll go up in here and look, see. I pinned that up. There's a little pocket down in there now. So that way I didn't have to mess with all of this tulle. So I'm cutting the underlayer shorter now, and how I'm doing that is instead of the mark that I made with the permanent marker, I'm looking for pinholes. See that one right there? I'm going to cut along that line and then look for the next one, which is right there. I'm not even wearing my glasses. Hope you are. Alright, so I did cut about 3/8 of an inch more off that hem, and I'm looking at it now, and you can still see the underneath sticking out in the front. This is the front. This is the back, which is going to drag. So that tells me that the little girl's got a belly, and her little belly pushes out on that layer and shortens it up. That's what I'm hoping. I see a little spot where I messed up. I'm going to have to trim it up. But hopefully that works out. Now I'm going to take up the sleeves. I've already started to peel back the applique, and it needs to be peeled all the way back to past my pin, which I'm going to get out my seam gauge and measure this first. It looks like almost 2 inches. So I'll peel back the applique about this far, sew it down, and then fold this down and sew it again. I have peeled back almost 2 inches of applique on both sides using a razor. You could use a seam ripper. I find that this is a lot easier, especially if it's sharp. This one's kind of dull. Alright, so that's going to be about it for today. I don't want to do any more sewing. I'm just going to do cutting today. So I'm going to move on to another dress, and I will post that one later. We'll do a day of taking up the sides, or taking up the straps